and I'm just going to give you a run through, kind of a review of the stuff I use. There's some stuff I've acquired over the past year or so that really is standout equipment, and I wouldn't say that you have to have great gear to sound great, because 90% of it's talent, and the other 10% is just enhancing it. My goal was to enhance my gift, not accessorize it, and that's what all this stuff is for. So I'm going to give you a little run through of it and tell you what things have really stood out to me that are either a really great budget, value-friendly, enhancement, or just top quality. That's the best thing out there. So I'm going to start with the amp. This is actually a clone. This isn't a real matchless. I didn't spend $3,500 for it. I found this on eBay. It's from a company called Tone. They are out in the Middle East. I could be wrong. I forget exactly which country. And it's this guy. His name's Nick, and he will hand wire these puppies and ship them over to the States at a fraction of the cost. I was lucky enough to find a guy on eBay with one of these, even lower than that. So it was really just finding a good deal at the right time, because I would never, nothing sounds good enough for me to spend $3,500 for it. And this is a Bad Cat cabinet. This is a real Bad Cat though. I found this on eBay, so this is the head and cab. Now when I run in stereo, I run with this Ampeg. And even though my church doesn't accommodate a stereo house setting, I still have stereo in-ears, and that's kind of for my own benefit, not to mention they just sound great together, even summed in mono. So right now, today, I'm just going to be reviewing the Tone DC30 clone, and I've got it mic'd up with a dynamic and a condenser that I use all the time. And then start with that. So I'm going to turn off everything on my board, and then just kind of get going from there. So I'm playing a fairly recent Telecaster. I think it's 2 years old. It's a made in Mexico Telecaster, so I'll never knock those. Those are a great value for what they are, and that's the only thing I've played. So this is just going through the EF86 channel, which is the second channel, and I don't know why I like it a little better than the 12AX7 channel, which is the first channel. Just personal preference, the way it takes pedals better. I've heard people like it the other way, but this is my preference. So this is just kind of what it sounds like clean on that channel, with nothing special at all. So it's very jangly. It's got that box tone, like it should. There's really nothing I don't like about it. I've played, not a matchless DC30, but I've played other matchless amps, and this will hold its weight. It's a whole different animal versus like a Chieftain or a Clubman or anything like that. It's a very British themed amp. But it definitely holds its weight, especially for being around the $1,000 mark versus almost $4,000. It was worth it, and buy a Bad Cat cabinet or a matchless cabinet used, and you're going to have that tone at a fraction of the price, which I'll recommend it every time. And so it's just very jangly, very great, perfect for what I need. And then I actually run a little EP booster right here at the very end of my chain, kind of like, I wouldn't say a mastering section, but it just gives it a little bit of warmth. So this is with that. And it's actually rolled all the way off, so I'm using it strictly as just a tone kind of warmth buffer, what have you. I was going to buy a buffer, but I had this laying around after I had it on a different section of my board, so I decided just to use it as a buffer at the end of my chain, because I don't have a lot, but I do have a lot of cabling going on, so it kind of pushes it all through there. Now, that's pretty much my bass tone. I leave that on all the time. And then another pedal, which is probably the thing that stays on second most, is the Tim Overdrive, which is made by Paul Cochrane. I think that's how you say his last name. I could be saying it completely wrong. So there is a huge weight on these things, and they're kind of ridiculously expensive. But I was blessed to find a deal for it for like $145, and I was able to get it off this site used. And it sounds just as good. It has a couple nicks on it, but I wasn't gonna frown at that. But this is what that sounds like turned on to a pretty kind of low gain setting. So that's kind of my rhythm tone. That stays on a lot, I'll be honest. I don't really go very clean unless it's for swells and things like that, and I'll get to that in a second. Unlike a lot of other people, I like to stack my overdrives. I don't like to, turn one off and turn the next one on, for a different part of the song. So I start with a Tim, that's my first, and then I stack, either depending on the song, I'll just hit the boost channel on the Tim, or I'll get the JHS Morning Glory overdrive, which is one of my favorite pedals. It was worth the wait, worth the price. So that sounds like this with the Tim. So that's the JHS Morning Glory and the Tim on the first channel, no boost. And then when I have to get, really gaining for some lead parts, I'll just throw the boost on the Tim and leave, the Tim on with the boost and then the Morning Glory right there. So then that's just like, so that's just very saturated at that point. And I like doing that because they all clip different, they all sound different going into each other, and I like that. I don't like switching them, leaving them one for the other, but using them together as kind of tools. And this, it's becoming my least favorite, but very usable for some things, is my full drive, which is made by Colton. I have the MOSFET version, which I think is the second version of it. There's only 2 versions. And I won't really stack that because it's kind of a compressed pedal. It sounds very it's very compressed, and I'll use that for leads and stuff, but and you can also kick the boost on that and get some more gain out of it. So yeah, so that's that one. That one's kind of, that's there if I need it, but I don't use it that much. Now, as far as delays and reverbs, which every worship guitarist is very focused on, I have 2 delay pedals, and then I have a Line 6 M5, which is a multi-effects unit that I pretty much use just for reverb, because it encapsulates, some of the cave reverbs, the octa reverbs, the particle verbs that are in a lot of the other Line 6 pedals. Not to mention, if I want a 3rd delay, I can switch over to one of the many delay models that are from like the Line 6 DL4s, that big green pedal, are also in there. So I can bounce back and forth to whatever I want. Only complaint about the Line 6 pedal is the presets are extremely hard to navigate versus delays like my Time Factor, which is made by Eventide. So my first delay is the Carbon Copy, and this is a great little analog delay. You can pick them up used for about $90 to $100. Starts to get dirty after a little bit, and you can use them for oscillation and things like that. Just get really crazy with them, swell into it even. So there's things like that you can do that can come in handy in certain situations, but that's one of my favorite delay pedals on here. There's only 2 of them. So the next one is my digital delay pedal, which is the Eventide Time Factor, which is a little more complicated. It stores up to 49 banks of 2 presets, so I can have 100 and so different presets with tempos, feedback levels, everything set, so I can feasibly have 100-something songs programmed in there and just bounce back and forth the presets. And then with that, I have a little box to control through the presets because it only has so many foot switches. This is made by This One's Mine. The guy's name is Dan Burgess. Awesome guy, awesome products. And you can set these to do whatever you want on the Eventide. And so I have one set to bank down, and this is bank up. Then I have one for tap tempo, which is external, so I can just tap in whatever song we're doing. And then this is the hold button. So if I hit the hold button with the Eventide on, I can swell into something and just let it repeat forever. which is good for certain delays that I have on here. So I like keeping that handy right in front of me. And then these first two switches are to go to the two banks that are called up at the moment. This is a great delay pedal. A lot of people are switching from this to the Strymon timeline, and I'm thinking about doing the same, but you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm kind of at the point, you know, until this breaks or, you know, God forbid I have to get rid of it or something, I don't think I'll be upgrading anytime horribly soon. And then from this, the Eventide goes into my line 6 and 5, which this turns into stereo at this digital delay. So then I run out one channel out of the M5 directly to the Ampeg, and then I go to the EP booster to the matchless clone. Kind of gives it a variance of tone a little more than just running stereo out of one pedal. I like having one kind of having that tone boost, because this is a very warm Fenderish amp, kind of bright actually. It's not as chimey as the matchless though. So I don't run it through the EP booster. I'll put up a little list of my signal chain on the video in the description. But so here's the verb. It's on a cave setting now. I'll exaggerate that a little bit, turn it up a little bit in the mix. Now throwing in the delay with that, it'll sound a little like this. Down a little bit, something like this. So it's kind of cool for more pronounced, you know, I wouldn't say rhythm, but arpeggiated progressions, doing stuff like that. Letting it kind of sit and letting the trails kind of trail out in that reverb under someone playing keyboard or acoustic guitar. It's really great. And honestly, this gets me any sound I really need or want. There's things like the dotted eighth delays in here too, so I can just, you know, get to that really easy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now the standout things that have really shine through for me every night that we have worship or every morning would be the Tim and the Morning Glory, and those are just really great overdrives. That's the tone of pretty much everything. Like besides obviously the amp, which is, you know, 80% of it. Just these saturated tones you can get at lower volumes are just fantastic with these pedals. Really great. Like I honestly, if I had to run a board with, you know, one overdrive, I would run with a Tim and a delay, and a tuner, keep myself in tune. But I mean, for tuning, I use the Korg Pitch Black tuner. Tuner is a tuner to me. I know some of them will be more accurate than others, but that's what I've chosen to go with. Got a good deal on it. With most of this stuff, I did buy a lot of it used, so I tried to keep my budget pretty low, but still, you know, sounding what I want, you know, getting the sound that I like out of it. So that's pretty much it. I'll put up some more pictures and some things in my email if you have any questions. I'm no professional, so I just wanted to share with you my journey, kind of getting what I wanted out of my gear. And I just want to stress that, you know, when you buy things, don't get things to accessorize, you know, what your gift is. Get it to enhance it. You know, if this will make this note shine a little brighter and just make it just sound better and contribute better to the overall worship experience, or, you know, just the mix. Think of yourself in the mix more than just by yourself, and you'll be done with accessorizing. You'll only be focused on enhancing your tone, enhancing your gift, practicing, and not just buying pedals to cover up your mistakes. That's honestly one of the reasons I started buying pedals, was to kind of make me sound like I was better than I was, which I realized quickly that it doesn't. You have to learn how to use them, you have to learn how to play with them, and not get distracted by it. So, like I said, just these are enhancements and not accessories. So, Just think of it that way, and probably get a lot farther a little bit quicker. So that's pretty much all I have. So thank you for watching this. If you have any more questions, like I said, just shoot me an email, and I'll do my best to help you.